Hey Canucks fans, and welcome to Clay's Canucks commentary for Tuesday, December the 5th. Excited, I'm going to tonight's game with my lovely wife Gail. The Canucks are taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. Hurricanes are kicking off a 6-game road trip. Meanwhile, the Canucks are coming off 2 big wins against 2 of the better teams in the league. They beat Nashville on Thursday, and of course we know that they beat Toronto on Saturday night. In Carolina, the Canucks are facing a team that they've beat in the last 9 times that they've played at Rogers Arena. Carolina has not beat the Canucks since 1999. Yes, that is 18 years ago. See that math? That was impressive, right? With the Hurricanes, they're kind of a hard team to figure out. They have a lot of talent, but they haven't really seemed to put it together. Up front, they have a nice mix of young and old forwards. They're experienced forwards. There's young guys like Teravainen, I should say, Aho and Lindholm, mixed with some veterans like Jordan Staal and Williams and Jeff Skinner, of course. On D, they got young guys like Noah Hannafin that's there, and Falk. And then in goal, they've been having some trouble. You know, they tried to give the reins to Scott Darling. He hasn't been that great. And both him and Cam Ward haven't really given the Hurricanes a chance to win on a lot of nights. Both of their goals against average are over 2.6. So you have a team that's got some pieces that's doing okay, but their record probably reflects about where they are. Like some decent talent, some hope for the future, but maybe everything hasn't gelled as quickly as it could. But we'll see how they do today. You know, there's always a risk that tonight will be what we call a sleeper game for the Canucks, or a letdown game after those 2 big wins like I mentioned. But the Canucks need to pile up these points as they play teams like Carolina and Philadelphia coming up later this week. As for the Canucks, I want to talk about one thing today, and that is grit, and that is toughness. And a lot of people were worried when Derek Dorsett was forced to retire, and that's sad news last week, when Erik Gudbranson and Brandon Sutter, 2 of our more tougher players, are out of the lineup as well. Well, Gudbranson for sure, and Sutter plays gritty enough. And then I think there's a lot of questions of whether the Canucks are tough enough right now. They don't have to go up and beat anyone up, or that's not the way that the league is going. The league is trending towards speed and skill. But you do need enough guys that will stand up for other guys and that are tough to play against. And I think in the lineup right now, you have potential in Jake Virtanen. He can play tough, obviously. He can play strong. Alex Edler has size, but he's not the biggest guy. And then you have guys like Gagne and Vanek who aren't afraid to mix it up. They aren't the biggest guys ever, but they aren't afraid to play hard. You could say Bo is a gritty player. But then you have guys that maybe you wouldn't think of so gritty. Guys like the Sedins, of course, and Sven Berchi and Marcus Granlund. They all play hard, but they aren't the toughest and most intimidating guys. One guy who is tough is Richmond's own, gotta love the Richmond boys, Troy Stecher. Twice in the game against Toronto, he was sent either to the dressing room or at least the tunnel, and then he came back to play. The first time, in the first minute, he took a shot off his skate, didn't even know that it was coming, and he went straight to the bench. It looked like we were going to be down a defenseman just 1 minute in, but he went in the tunnel, came back out, and didn't miss a shift. And then in the second period, he took a puck to the face, cut him, and he went to the locker room, came back with stitches, and finished the rest of the game, and now he'll play for the next little bit wearing a cage. Wow, that's pretty tough. Like I only play roller hockey, and I already know what it's like to get hit with that little goofy puck, and so I can't imagine getting hit with 90-mile-an-hour slap shots or whatever, 80-mile-an-hour slap shots or deflections up to the face. So Troy Stecher, good job, way to represent Richmond, and a wonderful representation of maybe what the Canucks are going to have to do going forward in the absence of Dorsett, is to be a tough, gritty team, a team that's tough to play against. Again, not the biggest team, they're not the team that's going to fight the most, but you do have to be able to stand up for your teammates, and you do have to be able to show your heart and your grittiness on the ice. Canucks fans, what do you think? Are you worried about the perceived lack of toughness on the team, or the lack of grit, or do you think that, like I said, there's enough grit as long as these guys stand up for each other, play a fast, hard checking game, a good forechecking game, good back checking game, that maybe they can get by a la the Pittsburgh Penguins, the Stanley Cup champions, and not worry so much about having the enforcer or the tough guys in the lineup? We'll love your thoughts. Is it something that the Canucks should be concerned about, or is it just simply the way that the game is going? Leave a comment below. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. Enjoy tonight's game. God bless, and go Canucks go.